All praise to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. This is House of Righteous Manners. Christ had a meeting with the law and the prophets. Moses represents the law, Elijah represents the prophets, and Christ is the Messiah, which translates into Hebrew, Hamashiach. Let's get into it. The meeting with the law and the prophets. Let's go to the book of Matthew, chapter 17, verse 1. Matthew 17 and 1. And after 6 days, Jesus took Peter, James, and John, his brother, and brought them up into an high mountain apart. Verse 2. And was transfigured before them, and his face did shine as the sun, and his raiment was white as the light. And behold, there appeared unto them Moses and Elijah, talking with him. What do you think they was talking about? Christ, Moses, and Elijah. They wasn't talking about the law being done away with. Or, that was the Old Testament. We don't need the prophets or the prophecies from the Old Testament anymore. There are many prophecies that need to happen written in the law and the Old Testament. And there are many prophecies that we are living right at this very moment. We are living the prophecies of the entire Bible. The Most High's word does not return back to him incomplete. So every word that the Father gave to Christ to give to the law and the prophets will happen. Let's get scripture proof of it. Turn to Isaiah 55 and 8. Isaiah chapter 55 verse 8. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, saith the Lord. Verse 10. For as the rain cometh down, and the snow from heaven, and returneth not thither, but watereth the earth, and maketh it bring forth and bud, that it may give seed to the sower, and bread to the eater, so shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. The Most High's words is like rain. When it comes down, it doesn't go back up, and it brings forth whatever he wanted to bring out. Whatever he says is going to happen, it happens. Isaiah 55 and 11. So shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it. Yeah, so whatever the Most High God says, it happens. And there's many prophecies that still need to happen in the law and in the Old Testament and in the New Testament. The whole Bible is full of prophecy. Let's get back to the lesson. Matthew 17 and 3. And behold, there appeared unto them Moses and Elijah, talking with him. Then answered Peter and said unto Jesus, Lord, it is good for us to be here. If thou wilt, let us make here 3 tabernacles. Peter knew the importance of that encounter with Christ, Moses, and Elijah, to the point that he wanted to make 3 tabernacles, one for each of them. Then answered Peter and said unto Jesus, Lord, it is good for us to be here. If thou wilt, let us make here 3 tabernacles, one for thee, and one for Moses, and one for Elijah. While he yet spake, verse 5. While he yet spake, behold, a bright cloud overshadowed them. And behold, a voice out of the cloud which said, This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Listen to him. The Father came in and shut Peter up for talking while grown folks was talking. Peter was speaking in the presence of elders, the forefathers. He needed to sit back and just chill. So the Most High God had to come in and interrupt. This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Listen to him. The Most High God even popped in to confirm the meeting with Christ, the law, and the prophets. Verse 6. And when the disciples heard it, they fell on their face and were sore afraid. And Jesus came and touched them and said, Arise, and be not afraid. And when they had lifted up their eyes, they saw no man except Jesus only. Christ didn't tell Moses that all his works were done in vain. He didn't tell Elijah that all the prophets that were killed for doing the will of the Father all died in vain, and that all the future prophecies were canceled in the Old Testament. The conversation that went on between these three had nothing to do with the null and voiding of the law or the prophets. If anything, they were comforting Christ and encouraging him to do the will of the Father. Christ was on a depressing mission that most men would dare to do, which was to give up his life. And like the prophets before gave up their lives, Christ was to give up his life to please the Father. These men did great things, and they forsook their lives and did the work of the Almighty, some of them unto death. So for us to put their works aside with simple phrases such as, the law is done away with, or that was the Old Testament, you show your low level of knowledge of the scriptures. Your ignorance keeps your enemy over you. The law is in effect. The prophecies will happen. You are living Bible prophecy. This is House of Righteous Manners. I'm out.